Okay, good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, December 15th, 2021, and we're going to get started here with our pre-market analysis for the S&P 500 futures market. Just to quickly review yesterday, coming into the open, I think we were talking about getting through, ideally breaking through this previous structure back here around 46.58. And if you look back, you can see a lot of support right where this prediction point is this morning here. A lot of support right in here. And we said that for any type of bullish case coming into the open, which we opened right down around here. So the market down here. And I said for any type of confidence in the bullish case this morning, we're going to want to push up and break through at least through this 58, if not getting up through some other key levels above. And pretty much right out of the open, we got this little pop. They came right into the back end of a level we were watching, and actually I think there was a prediction point sitting right there. Came right to the back end of the prediction point, and again our expected first area of resistance, and then sold off the rest of the morning there. We did have some levels on the charts that we talked about. In fact, we talked about them in our pre-market. We had one sitting right at 35 here. And then we had another one sitting here at 45.98. So you might see that that dashed line sitting there. That was on the chart there going into the open yesterday. And we highlighted this area of the chart as being a potential support area. And sure enough, the market came down. It bounced 1.75 points below our eye level at 98 there. And that was the low of the day. So we were basically spot on with that. And it was just going back to previous price action, looking at the overall retracement and deciding that that level there, and then the levels right around here where we had some CPs just a little bit higher up, made a lot of sense. So again, just using support and resistance, retracement, and that's how we identified that area, and sure enough, was the low of the day. And then you can see we got this little bounce out, and then a lot of trouble breaking through 50% of yesterday's price action now. So in the overnight session, we have not been able to get through there. Not a good case for the bulls. That would be the first thing that we would want to see the bulls do this morning, is break out to the upside here and get above that 36.50. I did not put 50% of the previous 4 hour on the chart, but it is somewhere right around 46.27 here. So I don't have it on there, but somewhere in this general area right here is 50% of that previous 4 hour candle. Staying above that is also going to be very important this morning for that bullish case. Now, we haven't gotten down to our high time frames or anything to see what they're saying, so let's go ahead and go up there and take a look. I don't think our quarterly is going to have anything new to add here. We're still holding 50% of the previous quarterly candle there. Of course, we have been getting this pullback so far, but everything still looks pretty much strong right there. And then our monthly, we just pulled back below 50% of the previous monthly bar. So not necessarily a great situation right now, but we still have that potential bullish divergence off the low that we made all the way down off of 44.8475 on this new contract. So potential still for that to continue to carry through. But we are basically sitting here with this bearish divergence from the all-time high, and we haven't really come up to break above it. So there's still potential this bearish signal from up top can still win out, and we get this push lower. So we'll have to continue to monitor. Remember, these higher time frames are hard to kind of get a nice actionable trade out of the open or something with, or for intraday trading. So we have to watch these. They take a lot more time to actually print the signal. Weekly, but pretty much similar to the monthly as far as waiting to get the signals confirmed. We did have the bearish case from the highs agreeing with the monthly, the bullish case on the pullback agreeing with the monthly, and we did get a really nice follow through here last week. We got this really strong push, almost got to the all-time high, and then on this new week here, we've seemed to kind of hit a little snag, and it's been a little bit of trouble for the bulls to continue to push here to new all-time highs. Now remember, on the monthly we said we're basically below 50% of the previous monthly bar, not necessarily great. On the weekly, we are sitting right around that 50% level of that previous week. So this is critical now. If we start breaking lower, we could, especially with all the bearish signals from the highs on our high time frames, it could mean we do get some type of larger correction lower. So we'll have to watch that and see. And then getting down to our daily, what do you know? It's agreement with the monthly and the weekly. So having the monthly, the weekly, the daily, these are super heavy time frames. That means that the follow through for that type of confluence of signals could be pretty protracted. So we're going to have to watch. The key thing to keep in mind here is, despite all of the confluence of bearish signals with such significant time frames, that's what's been happening all throughout these pushes for the last year or two. It very well, the bulls could jump right back in, right? And that's what they've been doing. We've been getting sell-offs. Starts to look real heavy. In fact, we got one not too long ago, and then the bulls just jump right back in. And despite all the heavy signals, they just continue to push. So that's what we're looking at right now. We could be looking at something very similar. And why won't it let me pull this over? Interesting. I don't know what's going on here, but for some reason, I don't know if there's a setting I've done, but I cannot pull the chart to the right. And that doesn't really make much sense to me. Well, let's just do this real quickly here. What we're looking at is potentially this at the end of September or mid-September here on this contract. Everything's lining up, maybe with the monthly and the weekly and the daily. It gets the pullback, and then the bulls jump right back in, and then we're at new highs within a month or two. So just keep that in mind. And I think I spent enough time looking at these high time frames. Let's get down into our intraday stuff here. So looking at the push up from the lows from 44.84, we're still holding again 50%. And if you guys remember back to a few days ago, or the last day or two, we said pulling back, we have 50% of this leg right here at 46.04. There happens to be some swing highs there, and this swing high here. This swing high here was 45.99. The low was 45.96, and we got this bounce out. So we were watching this level as the market was pulling back here. See, for some reason on this chart I can actually move it. The other one I can't. So back when we were up here, we said coming down into this 04 area, maybe a little bit deeper, maybe to those bodies right there, especially that previous swing high, made sense to find some support in the market. And sure enough, look at what happened there, right? So we got the support, and that was that level again that we mentioned earlier in the pre-market. So got the bounce out, and now you can see we're holding right here around that 50% of the previous day, and that is just about a 38% retracement of the leg down from that all-time high. So important for the bulls this morning to get through there. Going back to the daily, we don't have a strong bullish signal from the low right now. So if we did, I'd have a little more confidence in this, but we do have the 4-hour bullish signal there. And we did get some follow through, so we'll see if that can continue to go. On our 60-minute, essentially that agreement, but remember the 60-minute and a lot of these time frames, we were talking about the signal down here. Basically, we could pull back all the way down to, what was that swing low we were looking at right here, all the way to 84, back to the low of this leg, and we could still make an argument if this RVI continued to go lower. So eventually we did find the low there, and so there's that extrapolated signal. So again, not really my favorite thing, but we do have it there. And then off of the overnight highs, we do have the bearish signals right now. Looking at the 4-hour, just want to see, 4-hour did not necessarily print. Actually, it did. It printed a nice bearish signal right off the overnight high here. So we pushed, basically stayed the same or pushed a little bit higher, or we pushed a little bit lower here on the overnight high compared to the high we made just at the end of yesterday, but the RVI has pushed higher. So a little bit lower in price, a little bit higher in RVI. Definitely have it there. So we see an agreement on the bearish case from the overnight high right now, from the 4-hour and the 60-minute. And let's go back down to those intermediate time frames and see if we get agreement with that. And then we can go ahead and start talking about some trades this morning. So 30-minute as well, had that extrapolated divergence off the lows over here, and off the overnight high we did get another bearish signal and a bearish signal in this most local area here. Again, looking at the leg down from this 30-minute perspective here, 50% of this push down is right into that previous support area right here around 56, 57, 58. We have that prediction point sitting there. That, first of all, for the bulls, we need to get through 36.50. And assuming they can get through that, we have the 38% retracement here at our prediction point number 45. And then the 50% right into all this previous support that we talked about yesterday needing to break through, and then we came up and tested it and failed. So that area there, this area right in between where we are now and that area, and then the 61.8 is right into this confluence here of previous daily high, 2 prediction points, and this really good support and resistance in the market right here. As you look back, you can see how many times the market bounced off of this area, this general zone between 74 and 77 here. Once, twice, 3 times. All over here, had a lot of trouble, tried to bounce out, and then we found resistance off the back end, eventually some support, resistance, resistance. So a lot of stuff going on right there. That would be the next important level for the bulls to get through. And once we get through 76, 75, we now have a lot more confidence in any type of continued bullish push. So that's what we're looking at here on the daily scheme here. If they cannot get through the key levels we just talked about on the pullback here, keep in mind that we have this leg right here from the previous daily low to the overnight high. And we're going to have to see if the bears are strong here. Can they hold or can they push through, especially the 61.8 retracement down here at our CP around 1150. That level and this 07 quarter will be important to hold for any type of bullish push. And if the bulls can't defend those, the bears will most likely go ahead and continue to chug lower. Keep in mind that we did have a lot of bullish arguments from the low back here from yesterday. The only time frame not really showing anything was the daily. So we have the 4 hour all the way down showing bullish signals from there, and then basically the 4 hour all the way down showing bearish signals from the high. So we have to see who wins out here. We've got good levels to rely on. We've got signals in our trade room to see if they line up with these levels, and that's how we'll play it this morning. Again, having some basic areas in the market where we would expect some type of reaction, and then seeing who ends up winning out. So I'll leave that there for anybody watching out on YouTube and anywhere else. We're going to jump down to the member section and start looking for some trades coming to the open. Keep in mind here, I think I should probably finish out with this. All night it's been kind of a chop fest. So this is really, let me see if I can highlight this. This area from basically 50% of the previous day down into the overnight, basically the entire overnight range, is a mess. This is not a high probability area to be placing trades. So just keep that in mind. And what I'm noticing right now is we have a little bullish divergence here on the 10-minute. We'll see if we get any type of follow through from that. We've seen signals all night from the 10-minute that get some follow through. So we'll see. That was another one. And I didn't mark all the signals on the 10-minute here. I must have forgotten to do that. But we do have all these 10-minute signals as well. That one and that one. So we'll see who wins out here. It looks like there might be a potential push to test that 3650, 3550 area once again. We'll have to see. So I'll leave it at that. Have a great day.